What up, YouTube? This is MLB Trade Rumors North. I am the voice of Toronto. Before I get started off telling you the latest trade rumors since the last time I posted, I want to talk about a Fox broadcaster who goes by John Paul Morrissey. This guy was saying that, talking through different GMs and that you know, that they're going to be looking for certain players because the GM says that a team is always looking to upgrade their roster. Well, you know, I don't know any team in baseball that's not looking to upgrade their roster. If you can do better than what you have, why wouldn't you do that? You know, I'm an amateur at this and I only give my opinion on things and from what I know, but you would think being a professional, you could be more professional about things and, you know, give your 2 cents, but be educated about it. Don't just tell people what's going to happen because a team says that they're always looking to upgrade. You know, a big example of this is with the Jays. They said that, or he says that the Jays are looking to upgrade their outfield. If you've been anywhere in the last 10 years and are a Jays fan, they already have about 5 or 6 guys right now who can play the outfield. The Jays are not looking to pick up any more outfielders, and they're not going to be making a trade for one unless something amazing comes around. And I mean, that's like any team. If what they have doesn't suit the bill, or if they can upgrade in some way, then that's what they're going to do. Sorry, I just need to get that off my chest. I mean, I hate it when guys are supposed to be very professional about things and it seems like they don't know very much at all. Moving on, though, to the trades. The the Cubs and Mariners made a trade or a swap. Carlos Silva for Milton Bradley. Both guys were in the clubhouse, kind of not fitting in very well, always getting in trouble. I think the money was roughly about the same, so it's either new person, new team, same troubles, or hopefully that both teams can get solid players out of these guys without the clubhouse mess. The Angels signed Hideki Matsui. I think it's a very smart move. The Angels are always a playoff contender. I don't know why New York didn't keep him. I know that he's getting a little bit older, but keep him around as a DH. You know, every team has injuries. If something happened, you can put him back in the outfield. I think that's a mistake on behalf of New York. The Red Sox signed John Lackey and Mike Cameron. I think both players are a little bit, one of them's past their prime, and I think the other one's a little bit overrated, and that being John Lackey. It's amazing what people will say when free agents hit the market. The White Sox picked up Pierre. Really liked Juan Pierre when he was with the Florida Marlins. I think he's a little bit past his prime, but still a solid leadoff hitter if you need him. He's still pretty quick for his age. The Orioles also signed Garrett Atkins. I think that he's a guy that if you've been watching the Rockies the last 2 to 3 years, very solid infielder. Coming over now into the American League, you know, playing in the same division as Boston and New York, I'm going to be able to see him a little bit more, and I think you know, people in the American League will be able to see him play as well, and notice that he is a pretty high caliber player, so keep an eye out for him. Also, I think that this year both Seattle and the Orioles are going to be the dark horse breakout team. I think one of those 2 teams are going to do something this year. They've made significant moves, and I think that we're going to see them in one of them in the postseason. Yankees picked up Nick Johnson. Athletics picked up Coco Crisp. Red Sox signed Scott Rolen to a 2-year extension worth $24 million with $5 million in incentives. You know, good for Scott Rolen. I had the pleasure of seeing him play live here in Toronto. He's a really good player. Talk about the blockbuster that everybody knows about now. The Phillies, Mariners, Athletics, and Jays made a 4-team swap. The Phillies got Roy Halladay, Phillippe Aumant, Tyson, Gilles, and Juan Ramirez. The Mariners get Cliff Lee. Toronto gets Kyle Drabek, Brett Wallace, and Travis d'Arnaud. And the Athletics get Micheal Taylor. You know, I think all teams win, really. Cliff Lee is going to go in there very well with Felix Hernandez. Roy Halladay is going to fit in anywhere that he goes. And Micheal Taylor for Brett Wallace swap between the Athletics and Jays. I would have liked to see Micheal Taylor in the outfield, but Toronto did make some trades earlier on to fill those gaps in, and I think they're trying to get rid of Lyle Overbay, so having Brett Wallace come in kind of makes a smart move. Kyle Drabek as well, who the Jays picked up from Philly. They say that he's supposed to be the next big workhorse. He's going to be the next Roy Halladay, so in the next 2 years I would you know, keep an eye out on him. He's going to be doing something impactful for the Jays. Cardinals signed Matt Halladay to a $120 million deal. Don't really think he's worth it. Keeping him around for that long, I think maybe in the next couple of years he'll be alright, but I don't think he's really worth that kind of money, and to have him down the stretch tied up with that kind of money, it's kind of like the Vernon Wells thing. Vernon Wells was amazing, he got signed, and then all of a sudden, not so great. So, you know, I'd be a little bit leery on these big contracts. However, saying so, the Mets also picked up Jason Bay, who I honestly think is worth the kind of money, and to be in New York for the Mets makes that team that much stronger. Red Sox also signed Adrian Beltre. Randy Johnson retires. Indians signed Austin Kearns. The Mariners signed Casey Kochman. Braves signed Troy Glaus for I think next to nothing. I really do. I'm a big Troy Glaus fan, and I really do think that he will do well in Atlanta, and he was worth that little bit of money. I mean, any team should have taken him for what he took. Braves also signed Eric Hinsky. Blue Jays traded Brandon League to Seattle for Brandon Morrow. I think that both teams are kind of a winner on there. Brandon League is a fireball thrower, but he really has no accuracy. And Brandon Morrow, I think in 2007 he broke into the league. He was supposed to be somewhere around the same kind of caliber as Tim Lincecum. But with an injury and then being brought back and forth from starting rotation to relief pitcher, he really hasn't found his groove. So hopefully he can do that in Toronto, and they say that he's going to be a starter. Athletics also signed Kevin Kuzmanoff. Mariners signed Felix Hernandez to an extension, a 5-year deal worth $78 million. You know, both those teams now, the Mariners and Athletics, like I said, they're going to be those are going to be some teams to watch this year. Very smart picking on Billy Beane's half of the Athletics. He's very smart. He picks up these guys, and if they don't do that well, they're doing really well. And his team, the Athletics, really aren't. They trade him off for prospects. So you see a lot of trading going on with Billy Beane. He's getting rid of some of the veteran players, teams that are going down the stretch that want to sign guys like this who think they can produce, turning around and getting prospects. And I think that's a really smart GM move. He's a very good GM. Look at his work. Dodgers signed Andre Ethier. Giants signed Benji Molina to a contract extension. The Phillies signed Joe Blayton and Shane Victorino to extensions. I like Shane Victorino. The Royals signed Rick Ankiel. Blue Jays signed Merkin Valdez. I don't know a hell of a lot about this guy. If anybody knows anything about him, let me know. All I know is that he's a fireball thrower. And I think the Jays picked him up for cash consideration or a player to be named later. Either way, from what I know so far, it was really worth the deal. So anything you guys know, please let me know. Cubs picked up Chad Tracy. Athletics signed Ben Sheets to a 1-year, $10 million deal. Again, this is where I think the Athletics will sign him if some team wants him down the stretch. They're going to be very flexible to trade him, and then, you know, the Athletics aren't strapped with a $10 million deal. Jim Thome signs with the Twins for $1.5 million with like a $750K bonus. Really worth the money. You can't really go wrong for something like that for a player that can still hit bombs. Rocky signed Jason Giambi to a 1-year deal, same kind of deal. I mean, if he doesn't pan out, then whatever, but we know that he can hit the long ball. Padres signed John Garland and Matt Stairs, same deal, Matt Stairs and John Garland, both pretty decent players. I think they got him for reasonably cheap, so I think the Padres did very well on that. Cardinals signed Rich Hill. Don't really think that's a smart move. They said that he's having a lot of problems in the last little while, so unless they got him for a pretty decent price, I would have stayed away from it. Yankees signed Greg Golson. The Cubs signed Xavier Nady for $3.3 million, 1-year deal. That's not too much money for a solid player, so I would go with it. Rockies signed Houston Street and Rafael Betancourt. Didn't see those guys really moving anywhere, really, so not big deals. And finally, the Brewers signed Jim Edmonds to a 1-year deal. I think it's a minor league deal worth $820,000 with a $2.5 million in either bonus and or if he makes it to the club. You know, Jim Edmonds, I don't think he's been playing since 2008. I still think, you know, the money-wise and everything, it's worth it for the Brewers to take him up on his offer of wanting to come back and play. Was a solid player. I think he played for the Cubs in 2008 on the last half stretch of the year, and you know, through that last half he really did start producing. So, you know, I mean, if he's got something still left in him for the money, it's worth it. Anyways, that's my 2 cents. Let me know what you guys think. Subscribe, pass the word on. If you have any questions, concerns, or comments, please let me know. Thanks for looking.